Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. This video is to bring you a closer look at the DCI number 500. This is a gravity coordinator is what the 500 is. This is shown in the US26 polished chrome finish. Of course, available in all of the architectural finishes, at least the common ones. Satin chrome, polished brass, oil rubbed bronze, satin bronze as well. Those are the listed finishes from DCI. US4, 606 satin. US4 is missing. 633 is missing. Nonetheless, common finishes are certainly covered. Gravity coordinator, what does this do? Well, in short and in essence, what a coordinator does is it times the closing or coordinates the closing of a pair of doors where you have an inactive door that really needs to close first before the active door closes, because you might have hardware applied, generally an astragal, that needs to close after the inactive door closes. And a scenario of that, and indeed it's even called out or drawn out in the link below this video to the document called Template that will allow you to review the installation, which we'll get to in a moment. It shows a flat astragal applied. So here's the scenario. You've got a pair of doors. You've got the inactive door, and it has flush bolts or surface bolts. But then you've got the active door that has a rim exit device or a surface vertical rod device or some sort of exit device. But it has a flat astragal applied to the exterior face of the pull side of the active door so that the seam between the two doors is covered up and concealed. Imagine in your mind's eye if the active door closed first and then the inactive tried to close, it would hit that flat astragal and could never then therefore close. Not really so much in a scenario where the inactive door is always going to be bolted down. But now think of a scenario where you have a pair of fire-rated wood doors and you have a metal edge and astragal set applied. You have a pair of automatic flush bolts where once you open the active door, the inactive door can be pushed open. Let's say that it is a corridor between a lower level corridor servicing two buildings. Those cross-corridor doors can be opened, they can be used. You can go through one door when you're just carrying packages, but let's say you have to roll the piano through to go from this side of the building to the next. You'll open both doors. They're fire-rated and they need to be self-closing and self-latching. So when those doors close, a coordinator is going to be able to time allowing the active door to close with its automatic flush bolts, requiring the active door to close behind it, which in that instant, when the active door closes, it then forces the automatic flush bolts in the inactive door to engage the frame, allowing it to be code compliant. You could also, and I had mentioned earlier, metal edge and astragal set. Pair of fire-rated wood doors, they're going to have metal caps, metal edges on there, and one of them could be an astragal with an integrated metal edge. So scenarios where you really need to time the closing of two doors is where a coordinator, whether it be gravity or a bar style coordinator, are going to come in play. And how the gravity style coordinator works from DCI, but all manufacturers really, it's a non-handed piece of hardware right out of the box, meaning you can install it this way or this way. So you can install it this way or this way, but you need to just relocate that roller so that it's always in the bottom position. So in this scenario, what you really have here is a left-hand reverse active door. This is your active door, so from your perspective, this is left-hand reverse. Okay? This needs to be prevented from closing, allowing the inactive door to hit the roller, push the entire assembly up, allowing the active door to come in and close and clear behind it and underneath. That's how these work. So, looking at the installation instructions, that link is called Template. You're going to have this support bar, and you're going to have this angle strike. Now, imagine this is the edge or the cross section of your inactive door. This will be attached to the top of the door, and this is attached to the face of the door on the pull side. So the door is going to move in this direction. When it's going through its closing cycle, what needs to happen is this tapered front leading edge needs to strike this so that when the closer of the inactive door continues to pull that inactive door closed, it will literally lift this. And this is the strike, preventing damage from the face of the door, certainly. Okay? And then, of course, this bar is going to allow that all to reside when the door gets into the closed position, keeping it in a lifted sort of scenario. Studying the cross-section of the template is what will prove to be crucial in fully understanding what is happening in that scenario. Right here is the area that I'm talking about. When you see it in cross-section, it makes a bit more sense than the way that I'm not so elegantly describing it. Having installed these in the past, you've got a couple of holes to attach this to the top of the inactive door, and this face is what's going to be on the push side. So you might have some conflict with where this will have to be located, because all of these dimensions, the mounting point dimensions, the center line, this line is all predetermined because of the width of this. You might have to modify this slightly to get it installed, mortised possibly as well. It's not very thick. It should be able to be surface mounted, but that might be a challenge. That material is 0.077 thick, so just heavy on a 16th. You might need to do something about the location of those holes. It might conflict with an automatic flush bolt in the top of that door, or any hardware in the top of the door. Okay, so you might have to contend with that. This will be surface mounted on the face of that door. Screws are included in a complementary finish for all of that. And DCI also makes available the 500-R, or replacement roller. It's not actually unheard of to replace that roller, because in a substantial amount, or an application where there's a significant or substantial amount of volume, that roller actually does fatigue. And where I see it all the time are in high volume applications like hospitals, doors that are used dozens of times every day, and the action of those doors hitting, you know, the active door hitting that roller and being told stop, when you've got 5 pounds of pressure, possibly far more than that, most likely far more than that, hitting that, you know, 8, 10, 12 pounds of pressure hitting that roller every day, it will fatigue it. So hospitals will routinely call up and say, I need 20 replacement rollers, because they have them on hand, because the door will fail inspection if that small little leading roller is fatigued and doesn't allow the proper operation of the doors to happen. There is a link below this video to a document called Brochure, where you can review all of the coordinators available from DCI and the related products, in particular flush bolts. The gravity coordinator is the least expensive way to go. In general, the least complicated way to go, but certainly the least elegant way to go, because you've got projecting hardware hanging off. It could be a temptation for vandalism. Bar coordinators are more elegant, and that's the 600 series from DCI. They do complicate the installation slightly, and you have to think about those in terms of conflict with hardware, like a door closer or a surface vertical rod exit device strike. But they are certainly more elegant ways to go, and instances where you're coordinating pieces of hardware can always be accommodated, is the point of all of that. Finally, there's a link below this video to the manufacturer's page, where you can pull up not only all of the DCI products that we sell, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog. Now, I'm partial to DCI because they have a relatively petite footprint within the marketplace, within the industry. But what that allows them to do is to focus on what they do, and they do it very well. Their inventory is very deep. Their ability to ship, their lead times are industry leading in terms of promptness, reliability. They can be depended on. We're quite rarely out of something in stock. And I would give them a long look and consideration on projects where you need a complement of trim and auxiliary hardware because of their ability to ship quickly, ship economically, meaning provide the project reasonably cost effective, and do so in such a way where they have exceptional customer service and even better technical support. If you have any questions on the DCI number 500, Gravity Coordinator, or any other DCI product, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you.